I'm sorry, Potter. That's my final word.
Forget about it, guys. See you later.
I, like so many others, grew up with the adventures of Harry Potter shaping my childhood dreams and fantasies, either running crazily through the house or sitting by my window reading the books. The magic of J.K. Rowling's universe was never far from me. In fact, it lived deep in my heart and still does to this day. It's a franchise I usually return to when I am in need of some deep comfort, and it usually ends up with me watching the entire series in 2 days. I've had countless arguments with friends over which entry sits at the top, and a recent reignition of that discussion led to me thinking about why I'd always considered The Prisoner of Azkaban the mould that defined the Potter franchise. You see, a Philosopher's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets will sit in my heart as the magic of childhood. They're the breeze of imagination that floats so softly on a child's whimsical life. They're inventive and fresh. They use classic fairy tale imagery like vines and spiders, three-headed dogs and giant basilisks. For all their world building, they are stories of joy and childish adventure. They're Harry finding his family and becoming one with the wizarding world. But why are they so out of place when framed in the lens of the entire franchise? Well, one man, Alfonso Cuarón, the director of an English retelling of the birth of Jesus and a Mexican sex movie, was hired to direct arguably the most important turning point in the series. The turning point of love, family and childish adventure to loneliness and isolation. You see, The Prisoner of Azkaban is Harry becoming a teenager, realizing that he is indeed isolated. The childish whimsy of his adventures with Ron and Hermione are blurred into memory as Harry begins his descent into isolation. It was a fresh direction for both the books and the films, and it required a director who could do more than just recreate a book. See, this is where Cuarón turned the series from a simple adaptation of books into a genuine piece of film. Cuarón begins to thematically develop Potter through filmmaking techniques, and even though most people aren't cinematically literate, it doesn't matter. You can feel Harry's separation through Cuarón's framing. You can feel him pulled into the darkness away from his friends by Arthur Weasley. Cuarón's world is dark and muted. It may be the same magical world, but the darkness is starting to seep in. There's no hiding behind childish fantasy. This is a world of life and death, and Harry learns that for the first time. The visual darkness never leaves and only becomes more solidified as the franchise moves. Cuarón showed the world that Harry Potter didn't have to be a set of simple films, that it could be tonally and visually rich, imbued with cinematic language and professional filmmaking. There's no doubt that J.K. Rowling intended this growing darkness in her novels, but for a generation of children growing up with Harry, Ron and Hermione, Cuarón changed everything. He brought that darkness to life in the most beautiful way possible.